Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My entire life I have been a fan of villains. I can't help it. I always want the bad guys to win. It's just who I am. And one of my favorite villains, if not my favorite villain of all time, is the Joker from Batman. So I took his iconic reds and greens and purples and kind of made a beauty-inspired look off of my favorite bad boy. So if you want to see how I got this look, keep on watching. Alright guys, as usual, I already have my foundation and concealer on and set. And we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm using the NYX eyeshadow base in white first. Because we're going to go in with bright colors, I really want to make sure that they pop. So I'm really just focusing this on my moving lids specifically. And I'm using a concealer brush to make sure that I get it in the shape that I really want. And once I have that down, I'm just going to go in and blend out the edges with my finger so that it's just a little softer. I find using your finger is better than using a brush because the heat from your fingers actually warms up the product and helps it melt into your eyelids just a little bit better. With that base down, I'm going to now dip into my Urban Decay electric palette. I know that this palette has been discontinued, but they just released the full spectrum palette, which has a lot of similar colors. So if you're looking for something bright, that's definitely a good palette to go to instead of this one. So the color I'm using from the electric palette is called Urban. It's this beautiful purple with shimmers of blue in it. Very Joker, or at least it reminded me very much of the Joker. So what I'm going to do is place this all over my moving lid, basically everywhere that that base of white currently is. And I don't want to go for a sharp winged out look. I really want to keep this high and keep this round. So I'm bringing it up pretty far into my crease. I'm being a little picky with how I'm applying it today, just because I don't plan on using a bunch of transition colors that I normally would to blend it out. I'm just kind of keeping this as simple as possible. With that down on a pointed blending brush, I'm taking the color Jilted, which is more of a magenta fuchsia-ish color, I would say. It's not so much a blue-based purple, it's more on the pink side. And I'm going to use this in my crease to blend out where Urban is. And I'm just going to go back and forth in windshield wiper motions and sometimes circular motions to really get that rounded out, blown out shape that I'm looking for. And even though he's a bad boy and a villain, we want this to be as pretty and soft as possible. So I'm just taking a clean blending brush and running over the edges of Jilted to make sure there's just no harsh lines or nothing too rough and staggered up there. And then to finish up the color on the top lid, I'm just going to reapply some Urban that was blended away just to make sure it's nice and dark and purpley. With my top lid done, I am going to quickly do some tight lining and waterlining with my Ulta gel eyeliner in the color Blackout. I really want the base of my lashes to be nice and dark, and I want to make sure that that rim around my eye is nice and dark, especially with bright colors. Sometimes it can look a little weird having bright colors right next to your eye, so that barrier of black definitely helps, though I know it's really creepy watching people do this. So we're going to skip this part now. And now onto the bottom lid. Using the same concealer brush as before, I'm taking that NYX eyeshadow base again in white and running this along my lower lash line because we are going to use even brighter colors underneath here. And I found that this was actually kind of a little bit of a pain to do, I'm not going to lie. Perhaps if I did this all over again, I would use a white shadow. So on a flat definer brush, I am taking the color Thrash, which is kind of like a yellowy green. And I am bringing this mostly from my inner corner to about halfway on my lower lash line. This does not have to be really neat and soft yet. This is just to make sure we've got that bright green placed first. because the next color we're going in with is called Freak. I absolutely love the name of that color. It's a more cooler green, a little bit more on the bluer side, whereas Thrash was more on the yellow side. So this is going to be focused from the middle of your eye to the outer corner of your eye. And again, just really more paying attention to getting it laid down rather than blending it out or softening it. Then on a pencil brush, I am going to dip back into Freak and use this to smoke out more of that under eye and to help blend it in with Thrash. I would bring it a lot lower than I did, but I really didn't have a plan when I started doing this, so I kind of kept it a little more conservative, but I would definitely say bring it lower if you're doing this yourself. So with all the colors done, I am just going to do a tiny little line of black eyeliner using my Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner. Man, this really is an Urban Decay tutorial all the way, huh? So yeah, you could feel free to do a wing. I didn't want to do a wing. I really wanted to keep that rounded shape. So just a simple, straight black line. I was planning on popping on false eyelashes, which I ended up doing, but they were just not dramatic enough for me, so there was really no point. But the base of eyeliner still looked really good, so I left it. And I'm going to quickly coat my lashes using the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. I would have curled my lashes if I had known that the lashes that I was going to put on weren't as dramatic and what I was looking for. But hey, mistakes were made. So yeah, just simple mascara. And don't forget to coat your lower lashes. I think that on top of the green, the black long bottom lashes really stand out and look really pretty. I know my bottom lashes are super long. So just a quick coat of the Maybelline Great Lash for me. Now let us tackle the eyebrows. So I really wanted to have dark, strong eyebrows, but not super carved out, really fleeky eyebrows. So with an angled brow brush, I am using the NYX Eyebrow Cake Powder in dark brown. And I'm going to just run this through my eyebrows since mine are naturally dark. I'm really just going to darken them up and fill them in. And I'm going to focus on having a really strong arch and then extend that tail pretty far out. When you're going with bright colors like this, you can definitely get away with a stronger, darker brow. And since he's a villain, he does do that raised eyebrow thing pretty well. So having really high arches kind of help emphasize his psychosis, I guess, and just help add to the more evil, sinister look that is the Joker. And of course, we want to seal those brows in. I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel just to make sure they stay put. Now on to the rest of the face. The Joker is quite thin and quite pale. I did do my foundation a little bit lighter than I normally would, but I really want to emphasize his hollowed out cheeks and narrow face. So I'm going in pretty strong with the contour today. On a flat contour brush, I am using my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer and really carving out my cheeks, my jawline, my chin, and even up along my temples and my hairline. Like I said, he's very thin, so I wanted to slim out my face just a teeny tiny little bit. And to go with his slim face, he has a pretty thin, narrow, pointy nose, so I'm going to go heavily on making my nose look thinner and a little more pointier than I normally would by drawing two straight lines right down the bridge of my nose, going pretty high up, not quite to my eyebrows either. I know it kind of looks kind of funny right now because nothing's blended out, but I promise we'll blend it out. I'm going to also bring it down under my bottom lip because we still want to have big pouty lips. I know he's a bad boy, but still want to be a little pretty. And now that we've got all of that laid out, we can begin blending it out. I'm just using an angled face brush and running over everywhere that I had laid down that bronzer just to soften it quite a bit. I don't want harsh lines on my face, but I still want to look contoured and defined and a little more narrow. And then with a tapered little face brush I've got, I'm just going to blend out those lines on my nose and help soften them, but still keep that nose nice and tiny. And we are going to skip right over blush. I know, shocker. And using the color Luna from the Makeup Geek collab with MannyMua, I'm going to highlight. If you don't have that palette, MAC's Vanilla Pigment is a really good substitute. So I'm just going to hit underneath my brow bones, my inner corner of my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and my cupid's bow with a fluffy brush. And then with an even fluffier brush, I am going to run this along the tops of my cheekbones to help emphasize high cheekbones, but keep that really thin, narrow face going on. And now onto the signature Joker red lips. I decided that I wanted to be a little prettier with the lips. I really thought about just going Melanie Martinez and rubbing red all over my face. But decided that probably wouldn't work out so well with how pretty the eyes were going. Maybe next time. So I am using Jeffree Star's Redrum, which is a gorgeous classic red. I am not normally a bright red kind of person, but when you're going Joker, you gotta go bright red. So I didn't line my lips because normally you don't need to using his lipsticks, and I didn't really overline them that much, maybe just a little bit on the top, but nothing too crazy. And then I decided, well, since we're going for the prettier Joker, we might as well add some clear gloss to really shine up those lips and make them look just a little more fuller and poutier. Because who doesn't love big, full, pouty red lips? And then once you're all done, the final thing to do is to seal in all of this beautiful hard work with your Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. And that's the finished look, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching me take this bad boy into something a little bit prettier. If you want to see what else I'm up to, I will leave all of my links to my social media in the box below. And if you want, give me a like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. I can't wait to show y'all what's next. Bye!